Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to do syncing your audio and video together and then merging and organizing your movie, whether it be a short film or whether it be a feature. I'm going to show you kind of an organization method or for syncing and merging video and audio together. Oftentimes on a set you will have the camera department that is rolling separate from the audio department. Oftentimes the audio department you'll see a sound cart that kind of looks like this, where you've got your recorder and mixer going and your boom operator that's going to be sending the audio to a recording device. The audio department pretty much worries about recording audio and that's it. And the camera department worries about getting the images and not audio. Most camera setups you see, if it's a DSLR like something here, it's going to be recording in-camera audio with a crummy little microphone. But the sound department is the one that's going to gather the high quality audio that's going to be used, and then those two items later have to be synced in post-production. And that is what a slate is used for on set. This is put in front of the camera when they roll audio and they roll camera at the same time. They're going to show a few different things that we're going to talk about in this episode. First of all, the roll number right here. What this signifies down here is this is the second roll right here that has been used. A roll is basically a camera card or a roll of film. And right here on the side, this A, usually if there are at least two cameras shooting on almost any set, those will be listed usually as A camera and B camera. If you have more cameras, it'll be A, B, C, D, however many cameras you have. So right here, this is your A camera, that is your main camera. This is the second roll that has been shot on that camera. And then over here, the way this works is this is out of scene number 1, depending on how many scenes you have in your movie. This is scene number 1, and then this will be the third shot here, because the first shot will be numbered scene 1 with no letters afterwards. The second shot that they do will be labeled scene 1 alpha. The second shot, scene 1 beta, or scene 1 bravo, if you're using military language. And then after that, for every single shot, they'll have a certain amount of takes that they've got to do until they get it right. So this was scene 1, then they'll do take 1, take 2, take 3 until they get it right. Then they'll update this over here to scene 1 alpha. If you have any questions about that, look at my pre-production and production setup, and I will explain the slate in detail on that. But this is important to know as an editor, because this is how you're going to be labeling your footage that you bring into Premiere. So in Premiere here, that we are in an editor's project. We're going to show kind of two different things here. We're going to show this from an editor's perspective, and we're going to show this from an assistant editor's perspective. First of all, this is the editor's project. You have all these scene numbers that have been all the clips that have been labeled here and organized into scene folders. You'll see all the clips here that have been labeled and organized into scene folders, and they're labeled by the number scene 2, take 1. And this they only had one shot, but they did it 3 times until they got it right, and that scene only has one shot. So each one of these folders in here has all those scene numbers named in here, and so far the editor is up to scene 5. And as they're shooting, let me show you one other little bit of organization here. I'm going to go to the hard drive. Let's go under the editing project here, and you'll notice under footage we'll have this organized into days. This shoot had 10 days here, 10-day shooting schedule. And as you go under each one of these here, I'm going to arrow down, we're going to go under the film. You'll notice there's a camera A and a camera B. And under these day folders here, we're going to arrow down, we're going to look at the film. And we have two different folders. The audio has been dumped into one folder and the film's been dumped into another. So go under camera A here, we look at, and under camera A you'll notice there's roll 17A. There's also a roll 17B. That was for the B camera right there, shot on Blackmagic, and this one was shot on the red camera right here. But we have camera A, roll 17, just a camera A, roll 18, a camera B, roll 17B. So for every day shooting, every time they swap out a card, they're going to number these things. Roll 17A, roll 18. For each camera, there's going to be roll 1, roll 2, roll 3. Anytime you switch a card, it's going to be updated to the new roll number. And that's going to be reflected on the slate as well. And the cameras have to maintain the same roll numbers while they're shooting as well. If you have a camera A and B shooting on the set at the same time, you're going to have the same roll number that's showing on the slate. And the slate will also show cameras A and B. Maybe a little bit confusing there, but let's get into syncing. Okay, this project is called Check Now Short Film Editor. The name of the movie is Check Now. It's a short film, and this is the editor's project right here. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new project, and this is going to be for the assistant editor for syncing. We're going to sync day 8. So what I'm going to do is create a new Premiere project. I'm going to call this Check Now Sync Day 8. Now within the project, I'm going to import all my media. I'm going to go into the media browser and import my red footage. I'm going to import my red footage. I'm going to go back to my project, add that to a new folder, and I'm going to name this roll 17A. This is for my own organization here. In the media browser, grab roll 18, grab all the media, import it, drag that into a new folder, call it roll 18. I'm not going to be doing the camera B today. I'm just going to show you the basic syncing of these single cameras here and basic organization. I'm going to grab my audio folder, right click on that whole audio folder and import it. And that's my audio for the day. Hit OK. Go back and you'll notice my audio has been imported. I've got this little audio files folder that's been grabbed in there. I'm going to grab these files just to lessen the confusion and drag and drop those into my audio folder right there and eliminate one folder structure right there. So I've got my audio for the day. I've got roll 17A and roll 18. So next step here is I'm going to grab all my footage out of one of these rolls here. I'm going to start with roll 17A. I'm going to option double click on that folder. I'm going to select the first clip, scroll down, hold down shift and select the last clip. I'm going to grab the top clip and drag it into my timeline and let go. And it generates a timeline over here with all of my clips thrown into the timeline here in order that they were shot. And I'm going to do this all at once. I'm going to go back to my main project here and I'm going to grab 18 as well. I'm going to grab all my footage out of that, grab the top one, drag it over and drop it, lock it right onto the end there. So I've got all my footage in this entire timeline for the entire day. Now I'm going to go back to my audio here. I'm going to option double click on my audio, open that up in a folder. One thing I want to point out, when you double click on audio here, this was shot in mono. Sometimes the audio will be shot in stereo, but it will be two duplicate channels where you'll have left and right channels that look exactly the same. On a set, when you're using one single mic to record the audio, your channels are going to actually be mono, whether they show up as stereo or not, whether they show a left channel and a right channel. These should typically be in mono. So what I'm going to usually do, because watch this, when I play this audio here, let me move into this and play it. Watch down here at the audio meter. And you see audio pumping on just the left channel there. You want it sending to both. You want to be able to hear it out of both. So most of these files, what you can usually do with your audio, if you record it in stereo or mono, you can just grab all these files right here, right click on them, and go to modify audio channels. And we're going to change these to mono. Right up here, I'm going to say clip channel format. Right now it's reading a stereo, a left channel and a right channel, and there's nothing on the right channel. So I'm going to pull this down and say I'm going to use a mono file. Just one single file. And now down here you can say, do you want to use the left or the right? I want to use that left channel right there. This is the right, this is the left. It actually shows the numbers over here. Left, right, the letters I should say. And I'm just going to use the left. I'm making it mono. One number of audio clips, just one, and left channel. Hit OK, and look what happens. It makes this into a mono file. Now watch what happens when we play our audio here.
C11 matrix, take one.
It's playing to both left and right. Actually, this is just a single mono file, but if you drag it into a stereo timeline here, and let's play that audio, notice it plays to left and right. So now the audio is playing left and right because it is a mono file sending to both channels in a stereo setup, in a stereo timeline. So now that all these are mono, let's double click on a few and see, yep, that's mono, that's mono, that's mono. Looks like they turned them all into mono, so we're good to go. Okay, so the next step is going to be starting to syncing the audio down here. This is red footage down here. I'm going to hit Shift plus to increase my track height here. And I hit plus on my keyboard to zoom up. Notice with the red camera, they did not shoot audio on these clips here. There's no audio on this, and usually there won't be. In fact, sometimes when they shoot on a red camera, they will shoot it without the audio, and these channels won't come in. Just the visuals will come in. But this was adding audio channels as well, but there wasn't audio being recorded onto them, so there's no reference audio down here. If you're shooting DSLR, DSLRs have a built-in mic and they'll automatically add audio to the clips unless you go into the camera and tell it not to add audio to your clips. So if it brings it in, what I recommend doing is you can leave that audio on there for temporarily just to see the visual audio reference. Sometimes it's helpful, but otherwise what I usually do is I will just hold down Option, scroll across all the audio, Option or Alt on a PC, drag across all the audio and hit delete. We're not going to need that to sync the audio because that audio doesn't matter. If it was recorded in camera, it's pretty much unusable anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play through this clip here and we're going to look at the letter on the slate here. This is, and actually when you shoot, very first frame that you should see on the camera, when they hit record on the camera, should be the slate. So you don't have to forward through it and find the slate. The very first thing you should see is the slate. If you don't see a slate at the very beginning, it's usually because there is a tail slate at the end. So if that's not the first thing, then that needs to be corrected, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so this is the first thing I see on the shot right here. This is 11M, take one. and roll 13A right there. So over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play into this till my audio, till the clapboard comes down. I'm going to use, I played there and before it got to the point where that went down, I'm going to use my arrow backward and get to the point right when that slate hits, right there. And I'm going to hit I on my keyboard for an endpoint on my timeline. That's going to be right where it places my clip that I added up here. I'm going to double click on my first audio take and listen to it.
Scene 11 matrix, take 1.
Scene 11 matrix, take 1. That is the shot that I need right there. So 11M, take 1. And now I'm going to look for this, for the clap here. And usually you can kind of see this. You'll kind of move along here and you'll see a little blip later on down the line, and that's going to be the sync marker right there. And actually I can hear them barely saying on there, right here is camera A marker. So this is the slate intended for camera A. So I'm going to, because this was 2 cameras, so I'm going to arrow to this till I hear the clap. So I'm going to arrow to that clap. Right there I hear the little clip on the board, and I'm going to put I for endpoint. And now all I have to do is hit period, and it drops it in the timeline, and this shot should be in sync. So let's play through this and see. So right there, the audio looks to be in sync, so that's synced together. So I've got that audio in there. I'm going to arrow down. I'm going to go to my next edit here. And I can grab the excess of the audio here and trim it back right there to kind of clean that up. Now we're going to repeat the process here. I'm going to play through my clip, and this is a take 2. Right there, I'm going to arrow right until I see that clap right there. Put an endpoint on my timeline, go to the next audio clip, play.
Scene 11 matrix, take 2. Okay.
And he says scene 11 matrix, take 2. And there's my clap right there. So I'm going to arrow over, get it right on the frame. Right there is the clip. I'm going to put endpoint. I hear the very first frame of the clip right there. Period. Drop it into the timeline. And this clip is way long here, so that has to be, the audio must have run for a long time, so I'm going to trim that backwards. And there's our second clip. And that seems to be synced up. You're going to go to the next clip, play through it, and you repeat this process. I'm going to keep doing this all the way through the timeline until everything is synced up. Let's do one more clip here. Arrow through. Right there is where it claps. Endpoint. This is 11N. Take 1. Let's listen for that.
Yeah, scene 11N, take 1.
So he said scene 11N there. He should have used like a name like Nancy or something like that. But right here's the clap. But this audio I know belongs to this video clip because of the auditory reference on this audio clip here. I put an endpoint, drop it in, and there you go. Okay, so I've got 3 clips synced. I'm going to continue syncing this till I get the whole day done, and then I'm going to come back and show you the next part. So all this is, I kind of deleted some of this stuff here so I didn't have to do all the work, but let's pretend like this is the whole day right here. So I've got the whole day finished right here. Now what I'm going to do is just clean this up for the editor. I've noticed I've got some gaps here where I've got the slate that claps. I'm going to fill in these gaps so the audio and the video match exactly. You don't really have to do this if you don't want to, but I think it's helpful for the editor just to keep things nice and clean. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit arrow down and land on the next edit. I'm going to hit Command or Control K to cut. I'm going to hit Command or Control arrow up, and it's going to select the clip beforehand. Option, delete, or Alt delete will delete and fill the gap. Or you can just simply select that clip if you don't want to do the shortcut and Option delete. So I'm going to now, I'm going to zoom up a little bit, arrow down, land on that edit point, Command K, Command arrow up or Control arrow up to select the previous clip, Command or Control arrow down will select the clip after the playhead. Now I'm going to hit Option, delete, and we're going to continue to clean this up. So basically what we're doing is we're making the audio and the video the exact same length. And if you don't want to do the command little cut trick, you can actually just grab your arrow and sync it. And on this stuff here, we can actually hit B for your ripple edit tool. I'm going to drag that over to that marker right there, let go, and it deleted that portion of the video clip. I'm going to arrow down. Notice that this right here is a little bit of extension on the video, so I can either do Command K, you can select it, Option delete, or you can just do the simple ripple edit as well, whatever works. There's 3 different ways that I'm showing of doing that. I'm going to hit the B and do the ripple edit and get rid of the excess there. Arrow down, go over and ripple edit this excess footage off, ripple edit this excess footage off right there, and continue to do this until all the clips are the exact same length. Till the audio, I'm going to zoom up here. Notice there's a bit of a portion there of audio. I'm just going to trim that over. I didn't use my ripple tool. I used my trim tool there, just my arrow. Right there, I'm just going to use my ripple tool to fill the gap, snap it to that edge right there, let go, and continue to do this until everything is cleaned up. Then we'll come back and show you what I've got. Okay, now what I end up with is you'll notice all the clips here, the audio and the video is basically lined up the exact same length. I've got everything synced up. Now the next part I'm going to show is merging these clips together and getting them organized for the editor. So now the next part is going to be naming these clips here. There is no shortcut for merge. If you select 2 clips and you right click on it, you can actually hit merge here, and it was going to merge those 2 clips into one single clip into your project window. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to right click on this and say merge clips, and this is called 11M take 1. So all I have to do is simply name that 11M take 1. I can abbreviate there. If I want to add an O on the end of it, that's sometimes kind of friendly to add a 0, so that it keeps, if there's more than 9 takes, if it goes into 10, it keeps things in order quite easily. So this is 11M take 1. You hit OK, and notice it puts it over as one clip here. You double click on this and you got the video. If you click the video icon, it shows the video. If you click the audio, it shows the audio icon. That's the audio that belongs to it, that audio that has been synced. Now this is one single file. If you grab this and drag it in, notice it works as one single file, which is nice. So my first clip is merged there. I'm actually going to go, I'm going to create a I like shortcuts, so I'm going to create a shortcut for this. I'm going to go to keyboard shortcuts. Under the little search engine here, I'm going to type in merge, and it brings up a little shortcut for merge, and notice it does not have a shortcut assigned. The one that I like to use is Command Option G or Control Option G on a PC. If you select this, go over to the shortcut, click on it, it'll bring up this little window here asking you what do you want your shortcut to be. I'm going to hit Command Option G, and there's my shortcut. I have now programmed in my own shortcut for merge clips. That's a shortcut I like if you guys want to add in your own or not even do it at all, whatever. Then hit OK, now I've got that as a shortcut. So I've got the first clip named there. I'm in my timelines. I'm going to arrow down, go to my next clip. I'm going to select this one here, these 2, and this is 11M take 2. Command Option G brings up my merge window. I'm going to call this 11M take 02. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Command A and select everything right here, and Command C and copy. Now I can paste that into my next one that I name, and I don't have to type in the whole thing. So I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hit OK, and it merges and shows the newly named clip over here. Shift 3 to get to my timeline, arrow down. Here is 11N, take 1. I'm going to highlight both clips there. Command Option or Control Option G. Paste, Command V, paste that in there. And this is different. This is from my last clip here. This is 11M take 2. This is 11N take 1. So I just arrow back, take 1, arrow back, N. 11N take 1. Hit OK. Shift 3 to go to my timeline, arrow down, and continue the process until all my clips are merged. Copy that, hit OK. Shift 3. Now this is a different scene number here. Going to get a different scene number. Command Option G, merge. Paste that in there, and this is take 1. This is scene 13, just scene 13, take 1. Hit OK. Go to scene 13, take 2. Okay, and you continue the process until you get the entire day's footage synced. And I've got everything over here. Now notice I've got a couple different scene numbers here from the day. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to organize this for my editor. So I've got all these shots from scene 11 here. I'm going to select all my shots from scene 11. I am going to drag them down to a folder here and drop them on a folder and title this folder Scene 11. And this is going to be for my editor now. Right here, Scene 11 folder. I'm going to grab my Scene 13 clips, drag it to a folder, and name this Scene 13. There we go. So I've got my scene folders there, scene 11, scene 13, and these are the folders I want to give to my editor. So now if I want to really organize this and get it ready for my editor, I'm going to hit Command S and save all my changes here. I'm going to take all my excess items here that I don't need to give the editor. I'm going to grab those and drag them into their own folder. I'm going to call this Day 8 Raw. So the editor knows that this is the raw folder in case he needs the assets. If he or she needs the assets, he can look through it and find it. Otherwise, these are the folders that he really needs right there. So I'm going to save that, and my work is done. I'm going to send this off to the editor now. So now I'm back to the editor project here. So the assistant editor did all the syncing and the organization and saved it as a single file. I'm going to go to my desktop here. And look at these project files. Right here are the project files. This one was Day 8 sync project that the assistant editor did right there. In fact, if you have all the same footage on different drives, if you're syncing at home and you send this project file to your editor, if you notice, if we go to under information, this is really, really small. This is less than a megabyte large right here, this one file. So you can just send that off as long as the editor has all the footage on his or her drive. You can just email this to the editor, and then the editor can import this into their editing project, and everything will be synced and all the work will be done. Let's go into the editing project here. This is the edit project right here that the editor is working on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import that other project that the assistant editor made for us. I'm going to do Command I to import. I'm going to go to my desktop and find that file right there. There is sync Day 8 right there. I'm going to select that and import. It's going to bring up this window here and say, what do you want to do? Do you want to import selected sequences? I'm not importing a sequence. I am going to import the entire project, and it's going to create a folder for the imported items. So I'm going to import, and it brought the whole project into its own folder right here. If I arrow this down, I will find scene 11, scene 13, and the Day Raw 8 here. I can drag all those out if I want. Drag those to the left, let go, delete this empty folder now, and I now have scene 11, scene 13 added to my project. And now I can start editing these projects. You arrow open, you double click on a file, it will open it up in the source monitor, and you play through it, and the audio and the video play together, and it's all been synced together and works out well. And then you can edit this like a normal clip here, in point, out point, period, drop it into the timeline. This is the wrong timeline, but that is basically it. You can create a new timeline for the new scene number, and you're set and ready to go. So that is in essence how to sync your audio and video and merge it together and get it organized for editing. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below and I will try to respond. Thank you.